So I'm Shreya Agarwal. I'm a technologist, a podcaster, and very passionate about solving problems using technology. And there was one day last year when I was checking 47 emails, I attended 6 meetings, and I took like 3 interviews. And I felt very busy. But they were, if I really asked myself if I did something that truly moved things forward, I did not have a clear answer. Yes, there were small conversations, small wins, and also a few problems solved. And I've come to believe it is not a time problem, it is a clarity problem. So the world has made us believe that doing more is better, that being busy means productive, that exhaustion is the price that you pay for ambition. And the most radical move that you can make right now is doing less. And it is celebrated, the burnout, the hustle culture that regards sleep like weakness and no days off like a badge of honor. So, back in school, the most dreaded time was a parent-teacher meeting. And so my parents, they asked the teacher, so how's she doing? And the teacher said, well, she's doing fine. And as you know, with Indian parents, fine does not really make the cut. So my mom pushed back. And the teacher went like, well, she's satisfied with this and she does not want to do more. That did not sit well with my parents. How can their child not want to do more? And from that day, I understood that the message that has been told to us is that more is better, satisfied is failure. That if you're not constantly climbing up, you're possibly sliding down. And so we do more and more and more. But the problem with that is it's all based on extrinsic motivation, validation, comparison, other people's expectations. And so it's not from clarity and intention. So even if you're doing more, we don't feel it's meaningful. Now, there came a point in my life when I really asked myself, after doing so much, that am I building a life or am I just surviving one? And so I ran an experiment. I dropped 2 projects that were very good on paper but felt like lead to my soul. I stopped checking emails after 6 p.m. and I said no to coffee chats that didn't have a clear purpose. And I thought I was failing. I was terrified. I thought the world would leave me behind. But something funny happened. My reputation didn't crumble. My revenues didn't drop. My performance skyrocketed, in fact, and my relationships and sleep became better. What, like 10 hours of scattered, shallow work sometimes has its place, but it cannot replace uninterrupted 2 hours of focus. And so it is important to understand how we spend our time during the day. And I like to look at it in 3 layers. The top 20%, which is the high impact work that truly moves things forward. The next 20 is medium impact supportive work. And the last 60% is repetition, noise, and coordination. And most of us spend our days in the bottom 60%. And thriving begins when we shift a little more time to the top 20%. And so the thing is that we have reversed the importance of what actually matters with a lot of noise. Now, how do you choose what matters? And so I use a method which is called the brain dump. So I would like list everything on my mind and then I would ask 3 questions for each task. I would say, can I do anything about it? If no, I should cross it out because a lot of time we're just ruminating about things we cannot do anything about. If I can do something about it, can somebody else take care of it? If yes, I would delegate it. If not, then I ask another question. Can I do it in under 2 minutes? If yes, then I will do it right now. Otherwise, I will put a date to it. So by the end of it, I have a list of tasks that actually matter and that deserve my attention. So let's understand this. For the longest time, we have heard that success is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. And so we design our days around effort. But it is changing. execution is almost automated, faster, and easier now. And so, what's more important is that we plan for what actually matters. And that's where AI is quietly shifting everything. So, probably when you came here today, you checked your email. You probably looked at a document. You attended a meeting where you wondered, why am I actually here? Ordinary things that we have quietly accepted and we do not question anymore. But with the change now, that inbox, I would just spend 10 minutes with AI and ask, what requires me today? And it will give me a prioritized view in seconds where I exactly know what to respond to, and other things either get handled or dropped. Same inbox, but now I'm not reacting, I'm responding. That document, you put it up on Claude and ask it to summarize in 5 different points, flag the risks, talk about the key decisions that need to be made, or even the questions that need to be asked in the review meeting. And so now you're ready to lead that conversation rather than catch up to it while in the meeting. And the third one really surprises people. So presence is not equal to contribution. Let's accept it. There are a few meetings where our presence is totally ceremonial, like status syncs, weekly updates. And so what I started doing is building a digital twin where I feed AI my context, my genuine priorities, my standing decisions, and it would create a summary of what would need me and what I would have contributed in the meeting while I spend that hour putting my brain to something that matters. The idea here is not to just do less, but make sure whatever is taking your attention actually matters. Now, doing less comes with terms and conditions, so let me list that out, like when it works. So first is when there is the clarity beats the quantity. When you are working in a state of heightened focus, when you don't regard rest as laziness and many more reasons which we'll just dive into. So the best way to cut down noise is to have a good decision-making system. And I've personally built this sort of a weighted decision metrics for myself whenever I have to make a significant decision in my life, whether it's choosing a course at university or even the startup idea I need to work on. Here, I've taken an example of choosing the right LLM for a use case that I was concerned about. And this was since I was doing digital transformation for manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and logistics in India. I wanted to find parallel use cases in Germany. So I listed down all of the possible options on the left-hand side, decided the aspects that were important for me, and weighted them as to the importance they would have. And so you can say you can see a winning option, and that's how I usually take decisions whenever it comes to certain significant choices. So this probably highlights what you already know, but it cuts the noise, it brings clarity. I'm also an early morning person, and so on high deliverable days, even like today, I would wake up at 4 a.m. and what I would usually get done in 6 hours, I will get done in 2 hours. So I think it is very essential to find your heightened state of focus, and that's when doing less actually works. When you don't regard rest as laziness, we have come across that moment where staring at the screen, rereading the same line, but it is not clicking, right? So sometimes pushing harder doesn't help. Now, I had a university friend. She was a topper of the batch. She had a lot of friends. She had hobbies. She was sort of acing it all, and there we were, slogging in the corner and still slightly above average. Same course, same syllabus, different outcomes. The thing is, she knew when to push hard and when to step back. And I have my own version of this over the years, which I call the transition nap. So after my workout, I'll take a nap for 20 minutes. After an intense block of work, I'll again take a nap for 20 minutes. And it's research backed. 20 minutes is the exact amount of sleep that brings you and restores your focus without leaving you groggy. And NASA has found pilot performance to improve by 30%. The idea is that this is not because you're tired. It is when you're sort of switching and going continuously between workouts to work to another set of work area or effort area, you are half there. You're not fully ready. The idea is that everything that you get into should get your 100% and not your leftovers. So when you fix your environment, when you make the starting very, very easy, let's admit it, sometimes the hardest part is to start. And so there was once a workout routine that I wanted to get into, but the bed in the morning had a very compelling argument. So I said, okay, let me do this. The night before, I kept my shoes on the floor, my workout clothes just inside. So when I woke up, I just have to slide in. So one less decision to make, no negotiation, and you just go there, one round, one day, another one, another day, and in a week, I had a routine. So sometimes making the environment work for you, or fixing your environment, helps you sort of not ruminate over things and achieve more without doing more. Another way it works is when you are aiming for just enough. 15 minutes of maths over in 2 months over 6 hours of cram session. Spaced repetition makes long-term knowledge, and that knowledge is yours. When you not only manage your time, but your energy. So I have a lot of client presentations, pitches that I have to do, but then you're always performing. And you cannot thrive when you're always performing. And so this is because the nervous system has broadly two states, parasympathetic and sympathetic, which the former one is alert and the latter one is calm. And different work requires different nervous states. So when you're mixing between work types, creative, a client call, something administrative in the day, you're never truly shifting your nervous system gear. So you're lightly activated all the time. So what I do is I block the days for things that require my parasympathetic part, and days where I need more calm, more sympathetic energy state. So plan your not only your time but your energy calendar. And so that is a whole toolkit. That is a thriving you, which means you're energetic, you're alert, you're making good decisions, you're clear, and you have the knowledge to back it up. And you can have your own version of these tools that I just mentioned, but the idea is the brain dump really helps you choose what matters. The AI shift makes doing easy. Weighted decision metrics helps you make the right choices. The focus state makes sure that you can achieve more with less time. The transition naps make sure you are bringing your 100% to everything you go into. The shoes on the floor remove the frictions in the environment. The quarter sprint ensures that you have long-term memory and knowledge creation. And the energy calendar makes sure that you're always up and gung-ho about whatever you're doing. So with that, I want you to go home and ask yourself today, did I do something that actually mattered? Thank you.